It's Thursday. It's Justice Thursday. Every Thursday we have a conversation that touches on justice, and this is how we can promote justice and easy access to justice. Today we want to talk about children, and we are joined by a forensics expert at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, who is in the Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit, Detective Lawrence Okoth. Detective, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Karibu sana afande.
Thank you so much.
Sisi tuko hapa hatuna mambo mingi.
Why swallow saliva?
Unajua.
No, that is Eric now trying to show respect.
Unajua mkubwa.
Sisi ni wananchi ambao tunapenda kutii sheria. Yes.
You get this a lot, right?
Yes.
And people just know you're a cop.
That's it. Tone.
Go a couple of knees down. Hivi mkubwa namna gani? Unajua nijua tu ndio mingi. Karibu sana.
In this period, baridi ndio mingi.
Yeah, baridi ndio mingi sana mkubwa. Everything has to end with mkubwa.
Yes.
Ndio afande. Karibu sana to the show.
Thank you so much.
As we're going to talk about a lot of things, of course, we want to understand who's a digital forensics expert. But before you tell us that, CT has the day's proverb.
Our proverbs for the whole of this week ending tomorrow are from Sudan. Northern Sudan, or we call Sudan, Khartoum, Sudan, as opposed to Juba, Sudan. Okay? Love for something makes a man blind and deaf.
Love for something makes a man blind and deaf.
Yes.
Okay. Kachero,
Yes.
this proverb, when you hear it, how do you interpret it?
Well, love for something makes a man blind or deaf. At times, you find that you can like something, and the actions you take or what you do with that thing, the repercussion can be very, very bad. And in this sense, I bring the child in the picture. At times, you find that some people are so much attracted to children that they want to abuse children. And we have laws and legal frameworks that can address that. And when it comes to light, it can bring out the character of that person in a very bad picture. And connecting with the conversation that we have today, I say that when a pedophile get into contact with a child, they abuse the children, and they are hiding behind technology or the internet. So thinking that the world is blind, they cannot see, they cannot detect. And through the DCI, the National Police Service, we have what it takes to unmask, because it is not written on the faces of these people that they are child abusers. So I think the proverb matched very well with our conversation today.
Right.
Yes.
Who is a digital forensics expert?
Well, a digital forensic expert is officer, that person who is using forensic tools to analyze and extract evidence from the digital or electronic gadgets, like the images and videos and even chat logs, so that they can be presented in court as evidence. And it is an expert area that there are those special tools that you use. You can't just copy.
Can't just take a phone and
Yes.
look at it and you become...
And just share or download and say that is evidence. Yeah, there's that aspect of sound extraction using specialized tools.
Okay.
Yes,
So that means that you need to be an IT expert
exactly.
first.
Yeah.
So is that what you trained in?
Yes, my background is in IT. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in IT from the Jomo Kenyatta of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT. And I'm now majoring on cyber forensic and digital examination of evidence. Yes.
So when you say that there are specific tools that you use to extract this evidence from the digital gadgets, are these tools recognized in law?
Correct.
Uh-huh.
There are tools that have been tested globally. They have been recommended by law enforcement authorities and recognized by the justice system as the correct tools to extract evidence and adduce in court soundly without changing anything. It will be the true image of exactly what is in that phone. So those tools are capable of extracting evidence from the gadget without any change, making any change. Yes.
So also listening.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be that it's after an offense has been committed that then you acquire the gadget that you extract. You can be suspecting, and one of the ways of confirming that what you're suspecting is actually happening is you start extracting the information as part of your intelligence gathering.
Yeah, there has to be a report for us to investigate. At times we have intelligence reports that we can just follow, and using the legal requirements, that is the rule of law, we have to get some legal orders to access a mobile phone. So we will apply for legal warrants and seize that gadget so that we can extract. And within that legal document, that is the court warrant, ordering me to access your phone and extract evidence or investigate that gadget, I have to specify what exactly I need from that phone. So there is also legal guidance in terms of forensic investigations.
So now, in the course of your work, what kind of cases are we looking at here, especially when this pertains to children? And then online, if we're looking at cybercrime and attacks on children, what kind of cases then do you cover?
Yeah, cases that have been facilitated or has been committed using technology. And to be specific on children, we have cases like cyberbullying. We have cases like people are recording children when they are being abused sexually. And when it is recorded, actually at times it is said within the law it is child pornography. But as the people working within this area, we are saying that children, because they don't have consent, it becomes a child abuse material. But now when we take you to court, then we go by the legal term child pornography. So there are those materials that are depicting children who are being sexually abused, and people are trading using this kind of materials. So we at the DCI, we are able to investigate this kind of cases. And if you look at the Children's Act 2022, it really captures and brings out this kind of crimes, like grooming, when someone just reach out to a child through the internet, start building trust, and then the child is able to meet this person outside the internet, then they are abused sexually. So the law also covers that and ensure that even without physically meeting this child and sexually communicating with this child, it is a crime. So if we find someone sending sexual messages to a child, we are able to punish that person, and with a crime that is in law, sexually communicating with a child. And also, when we find these people, we ensure that any child around that person is interviewed, because we are really uplifting the interest of children to ensure that we protect them. They are vulnerable. So those kind of crimes, we get them. And
are there such cases, by the way? You know, we see these things in movies, you watch series, you watch crime and investigation channel, and you see them, you know. In Kenya, we have talked about, you know, protecting our children online. The Communications Authority has that yearly program that, you know, let's protect our children online. But you now sit as a detective at DCI. Are there many cases of people actually using online platforms and digital gadgets to lure children, to exploit children in Kenya?
Correct.
There.
We have very, very many cases, and for sure I can tell you, and because these people, actually, when someone is enticing a child and abusing that child, a child will think it is normal. So the report will not come on time until it pops up maybe on Facebook, on these social media platforms. So we are working very closely with the international law enforcement authorities. We work closely with tech industries, and even tech industries, they have internal policies to fight child abuse or the security of children while they are using their applications. So people report to them.
How?
Like this major social media, if you see a post, be it on WhatsApp, be it on Facebook, there is that the three dotted dots at the right top corner of every post. If you click on that, you are able to find support or report the page or report the post. So if you report that, you are able to actually get a menu options of if you want to report hate speech, if you want to report child abuse or sexually related case, you choose that option. So that industry or that electronic service provider will actually view your report, because someone can report maliciously or accidentally. You report a page that you say this is a child abuse material, this is child, but in real case it is not. So they have to conduct the internal review of your report. If it is a child abuse material, they make it available for law enforcement authorities to investigate. And these major industries, there is an organization in the United States of America called the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So it is a law in the US that all these electronic service providers, any case, any report that is touching on a child is pushed to that organization. Then it is made available to the people taking care of children, the researchers, the law enforcement authorities, and even counselors. So as National Police Service or the DCI, we pull these reports. And I want to tell you that we get an average of 52 cases in a day That 52
every day.
every day.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead.
Sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Can you categorize these cases?
Yeah, these cases are reported from different platforms.
Okay.
As I said, when you report, it goes to that database. So it comes as this child abuse material, the child pornography, people sharing, people storing this kind of recordings in the cloud.
Yeah.
And these platforms belong to these electronic service providers. So if they detect, they report. So you find child abuse material. We have sextortion, people who are paying and earning out of the sale of child abuse material. Because you realize when the government strengthened the system of protecting children online, people tend to buy and these things from elsewhere that they feel the system is still not able to detect them. So through the internet, they are able to source this kind of materials at a fee.
So take me through this. If I go into the social media platform, I see a post or a page, I click on the three dots, it opens up and it tells me report this. And they'll ask you report why. And I say maybe it involves a child. If I click on it, they say, all right, thank you, it's under review and something is being done about it. Is that when you are alerted?
Yes.
Or do I have to also come and alert the DCI?
Yeah, we have also, if you are aware, because just most recently, the judiciary, that is the Chief Justice Chief Justice Martha Koome, launched a training handbook on investigations and prosecution of online child sexual exploitation and abuse. And this is to standardize how these cases are being handled, so that you find that when a case is reported, some cases are detected when the professionals are interacting with the children or offering a specific service to a child, be it a counselor, counseling a child that they feel is stressed or traumatized. Then through that, they are able to detect that this child has been abused online, and there are those images of that child that are circulating over the internet. So that person can report directly to the DCI. Even a parent can detect going through the phone, because these phones belong to the parents. They are the ones who have given them to the children. And when they access that phone, they find there is suspicious communication, or they see these pictures or images of the children being shared online. They can directly come and report. But as a strategy, a strategic initiative, we are partnering to ensure that even those unreported cases are acted upon. So the judiciary has really strengthen what is happening through standardizing and making sure every actor knows what they are able to do, and the reports can reach us.
Okay.
Yes.
There are also cases where this communication has taken place via the mobile phone and then has escalated to the point where minors then meet with these abusers. And unfortunately, very many things happen thereafter. Sexual violence, rape, getting into a relationship with an underage. Many things happen thereafter. Are some of these cases brought to your attention, and then how do you deal with them after that?
Yeah, at times we find a report or just a circulation over the social media, and DCI is tagged. We are able to trace this phone. It is possible because there are those digital footprints, and you can trace. And what we have discovered is that children who are running away from home, who are going missing. Nowadays, they don't just go missing. You find that they already know they are going to meet someone. It is only, and they are going to meet where, because they have been directed through the mobile phone. So every clip that we see or circulates around is showing that a child being abused somewhere, or children being abused. So we usually, using that, investigating this kind of clips, we ensure that we trace, identify the victims and rescue, and also we ensure that we arrest the perpetrators for justice to prevail. But behind that, we usually dig deep to ensure that every other offense that was committed against that child is addressed. So we don't just investigate those clips. We trace the children, we interview them, we search around, we also identify other potential victims and interview them, just to ensure that every child is taken care of in the course of our investigations.
Forgive my naivety, detective. Are you saying that in this country there are such things that are happening, that somebody gets onto digital platforms, gets into contact with a child, and they start sharing nudity, for example, with children, and they solicit nudity from children?
Yes.
And they're Kenyans? And they're in Kenya?
Kenyans, they are in Kenya, and internet is in Kenya. These are internet-facilitated crimes, and people use internet all over.
And these are adults above, I like to say above 20 years old.
Yes, who are adults. So, sorry, when the cases we have cases that offenders are Kenyans. We have cases where offenders or suspects are foreigners. And there is a case that was in Mombasa where a house help was jailed for life for abusing a minor who was under 5 years. She was jailed for life. And the child was being abused sexually, recorded and shared with some people. Then she's paid. So that is how serious it is. You find that the people who are abusing children are the people we trust. We have
close
them.
to them.
Yes. The people who are handling our children at home. So you find that there is no mark that this person can abuse a child, so we don't have to give him access to children. They are using technology to hide. And initially, or those days when we were very young, you find parents could tell us, don't talk to a stranger.
Yeah.
And because of technology, strangers are making use of technology. And the same thing should go on, and the parents should go ahead and talk to children and make children understand that don't just give information to strangers, because we have so many applications that are bringing strangers into our houses. People have friend request, but we don't know them. Yeah. You find people, children are competing, I have how many followers, in the name of friends, but they really don't know them. So these people are taking that advantage, and they are hiding behind technology to reach children for their own reason. So these cases are there. Most recently, we unmasked a Kenyan who was really playing a role of a coach, a mentor in the society. And even the parents entrusted this person with children. Children could identify with him. And some children were also able to even stay with him. Parents, when children at home, how do we handle children, manage children when they are at home. So this person, using that stature of being a coach, he was able to attract and even groom the whole society to believe he's mentoring children. Then, in the long run, he was abusing these children, recording, posting, and we traced and arrested him, and we were able to identify. So if a football team has got 11 children, those 11 children are potential victims. But now you find within a society the love of football. People and children wants to join and be part of the team. So the whole society can be a victim.
I would like to hear how your unit then is able to investigate such a case. Police Detective Lawrence Okoth is from the DCI. He is a digital forensics expert from the unit that handles anti-human trafficking and child protection. He's here today because we are talking about protecting our children online and making sure that the online and digital spaces are safe for children, what the DCI is doing about that. Detective, you're telling us about this particular example. Somebody comes to a community, builds trust in the community, shows the community that, they are trustworthy, they are mentoring children, they are nurturing their talent. But what they are actually doing is exploiting these children, recording them and selling the content on digital platforms. Now, in such a case, how does the DCI come in? Are you able to detect before a parent notices and alerts you, or somebody in the community alerts you? And how do you pick it up? How do you actually build evidence against such an individual?
Yeah, so when we get reports, DCI, actually, the role of the police is to protect, and we protect children. We prevent from occurring, and DCI established the anti-human trafficking and child protection unit to actually address children cases. So we come in when it has been reported, when we have intelligence that children are being abused. So to prevent, we have at the unit, we have a strategic plan. We have mandates that we work with, and even the staff. We have a very strong, enlightened, and expertised workforce, and our officers, the team I work with, and we work with at the unit, are experts at different levels. We have officers who are expert in counseling, in psychology. We have officers who are digital forensic experts like myself, and we have officers who are really focusing on matters to do with child trafficking. So we have a framework. We have pillars like integrity as a core pillar, a core value, professionalism, teamwork, and partnership. So through partnership, we are able to get this report.
So someone reports that there's something that's happening in this community and we suspect so and so.
Yes.
Now, of course, by the time the DCI is landing on so and so, maybe they have deleted all the evidence from their gadgets.
Yes.
All right. And of course, if the case was that they were recording and selling or sharing this elsewhere, are you able to unmask that entire network and get to know this is where this person was sharing with X number of people, they were making money out of it or whatever else they were doing?
Yes, we are able to, because these evidence are not actually stored only on the offender's phone. If he was sharing with the child and that case is reported, part of the evidence is from the phone that was used by that child. If it was on cloud, the servers can be in a different location. So that's why I was saying through partnership and through cooperation, we work. Internet does not know border. So you find us working very well with the international law enforcement authorities and organizations, like now the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And we pull those reports, review them, and make sure, identify the crimes that have been committed using the analysis from those reports. Then if a Facebook account was reported, and we are given that this post was done by on this Facebook account, using this Facebook account, we are able to liaise with Facebook, that is under the umbrella company Meta, to give us the login details, the geolocation of that person, and the evidence, because when it is deleted, it has just been deleted from the public face. But within that server, it is there, it is existing. So we are able to use legal requirements, obtain court orders, serve the industry. If it is Facebook, we serve Facebook, requesting those login details and the evidence itself. So we will have the login details, which will contain IP address that is attached to that gadget, and was attached to that gadget when it was posting that kind of clip. We are able to trace to the internet service provider that provided internet for that IP address, and request for IP address data attached to that gadget or the file that was reported. And we are able to identify the specific phone that was used or computer that was attached to that IP address at the time when this person was posting this kind of clip. Then we are able to now also get the number, mobile phone number, the account details. If it was a phone, he logged into his Facebook account using that gadget. And of course, if it is my account in this space, it will be obviously my account. You can't access my account. So we are able to put someone, the right person, behind that gadget, because we first of all trace the gadget and get hold of the person who was actually using the gadget at that time. Because we have some shared gadgets. If it is a workplace, when someone is not on duty, we can tell this person was not on duty, but his account was accessed by someone who was on duty. So we will use the physical evidence like the logging, check-in, when you are signing in for work, signing out. We use that to corroborate our evidence and actually put that person behind that keyboard to ensure that we arrest the right person and charge the right person.
If we look at child trafficking, which you mentioned is an issue, I mean, obviously there's departments set up to deal with that. How then would you begin? We, a few weeks ago, had a conversation about missing children in Kenya, and a certain percentage of the children that go missing can be attributed to child trafficking. How would you even begin if a child goes missing, if a child is picked up from a playground, from their outside their home? Where would you even begin to start to trace the whereabouts of this child, or who could have possibly taken the child, with the science that you use, and then it's of course brought to you? I mean, where would you even begin?
Yeah, when a child goes missing from home, and nowadays we say children, they just don't go missing. When they are leaving home or running away from home, they already know who they are going to meet and where they are going to meet that person. So at times, they have been advised, leave your phone behind because it will be traced. So we will visit that premise, do a search, do interview about this child, the hobbies. If it is writing, we can even look at the novels this child is reading, and we find the notes. We will always remember there is a law, this principle of every contact leaves a trace. Yes, low-card principles. So using that, we are able to come visit where the child was staying before he or she went missing, the person he was engaging with, the behavior the child was depicting before she went missing, and we are able to search. And we have had such cases. Like, for example, we had a case, a child left here, went missing, and for some time. And when the report reached us, we were able to trace this child somewhere between Mozambique, Malawi, and Tanzania border. And we brought the child back. But we traced the child. We were able to trace how the child went missing because...
How old was this child?
Yes?
How old was this child?
The child was around 13 years when she went missing. So...
And the person that was behind this had taken some time to actually convince this child to leave home.
Yes, there were several attempts because the child started by showing interest in studying in South Africa.
Okay.
Then, because she was schooling, of course, the parents would say, you have to wait. So we got the report. We were able to share information with our other law enforcement authorities from other territories, and the child was intercepted going to South Africa. But just to explain that we were able to get some information even before we got the child. There were some maps, notes that were advising this child how to live without traveling documents and without being traced. The child was advised, you leave the phone behind, you leave everything behind, but this is the map.
What was the intent?
Yes.
What was the intent of the person who took this child with this child?
Inten-
Obviously, was not going to take them to school.
Yeah. Trafficking, there is that aspect of exploitation. So until a child is... people traffic children for different reasons, and until it is done, you can't tell the reason. But trafficking can be intercepted before the child is exploited, so that you know. But mostly, several cases that we get is sexual exploitation.
So the person who is, for example, behind an example like the one you're just giving us, is not in the country.
Yes.
They want to get this child outside the country and take them elsewhere.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So how did they get in touch with this child in the first place?
So social media, you remember the stranger danger thing?
Yeah.
People hide, or people send friend requests. People play games that if you are playing with another person you don't know, at the end of it, you can be asked to give your details.
Yeah.
So if the person behind that game is interested in trafficking, then they will use the information you have supplied to convince you and to engage you even outside the game.
Right.
So that you are able to give more information, build trust, and is able to make you believe that you can get good things when you meet physically. So it is grooming, which is also covered under Children's Act 2022. So social media, the internet, people...
That's the first contact point.
Yes.
And then the grooming happens systematically and over time.
Correct.
How can we detect this? How can you, as a parent or as an adult who is with his child, detect it?
When you have a child, some parents are so close to their children, they can talk they can see the change of behavior. A child leaving a family program that they watch together, going to the bedroom with a mobile phone until she's called to come and eat. When she's called or he's called, he's not coming. You find the child is going away from the family. And if it's too much on the mobile phone, the screen addiction, until even the grades, if you can tell, even with the grades, the child is not doing homework, complain from schools, the child did not do assignment, the child is at home, you realize the child, at the time people are taking supper together, she is not there, but she's within the house. When people retire to sleep, you find the child inside the net is still using a mobile phone. So that means there's some engagement. So you need to, as a parent, get to know what exactly that the child is doing with the phone, and try to even engage the child and see what forums. Because nowadays you find that there are several applications. We have TikTok, we have Instagram, but children will not be on that popular platform where even parents are. So they tend to use this other platform. So even the number of screen control that the child has employed, you can tell what is he hiding when the password is like 3 levels. You put fingerprints, you put face, then you feed them. That is when you can access what they are doing. So with that, it can tell you for sure there is something
that they are hiding.
Yes. And these people will prepare these children so much so that they are told, don't make someone to know what we are talking.
Officer Okoth, before this communication explosion that we have on the planet, these pedophiles and all these malcontents existed.
Yes.
How did you deal with this? The question I'm asking is, outside social media, do you have situations where people call in, parents call in, parents report, adults report?
Yeah. People come and report. People, at times, they can miss because they just don't know the manifestation. They can report missing child. My child went out and went missing. So people come and report. But when we interview and do statements, we are able to see the line the investigation is taking. So reports are coming, and they can report anywhere at police stations, and they can also we have internal mechanism, like you talked of Communications Authority of Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah, they developed an app that you can use to report anything on social media or on phone, called KSAT. So it is downloadable, and you are able to report any type of cyber threat or case or incident on your mobile phone.
It's interesting that you mention that because of the forensics then that you use, you're able to pinpoint down to the very point at which an individual was at perpetrating a crime. That's what we are saying here, against children.
Yeah.
So perhaps a lot of people don't report because they do not think anything can be done about it. I mean, after all, somebody tried on a phone, and goes, okay, so what is going to be done? But then you're encouraging folks to come out and say, because you actually are able to trace and find out what really happened.
Yes. So when we get reports, yes, those reports, we analyze them and make sure we are able to trace what exactly is the crime that is committed against this child. So we first launch investigation based on reports that we receive. Yes. And when we investigate, we are not just looking for one. We investigate with open mind. We investigate cases. We have several acts that are protecting children in this country, and we really look into them. Like trafficking, we have Counter Trafficking in Persons Act that is covering trafficking. We have Sexual Offences Act that is really focusing on sexual offences, and also other
Children's Act, of course.
Yes, Children Act that was reviewed and is now containing the internet aspect. Yes.
Detective, this has been a very, very insightful conversation. And we thank you very much for coming. It's good to know that our DCI has the capacity. And what you say is, fichua kwa DCI, we see you. The DCI Twitter handle says, fichua kwa DCI. Because DCI have the capacity to actually investigate, trace, and solve these crimes. Asante sana for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Detective Lawrence Okoth is from the DCI. He is a digital forensics expert, and he's been telling us about how to protect our children from harm while using the internet.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.